Should you buy a BMW E46 3 Series? Let's find out. Hello everybody, it's Mike, the Baldadonis. Boom! Hi guys, on today's episode, talking about buying BMWs, especially the E46 platform. That is the 3 Series, and owning several. This is my 24th BMW that I've owned, and that's including 6 Mini Coopers. So I know a thing or two about the BMWs. I may not be a BMW technician, but I am an enthusiast and I know what to look for. And what I should stay away from because they are expensive. So with that said, hello everybody, my name is Mike the Baldadonis and I talk about many different topics. If you're joining me for the first time watching this video because you're watching it for the BMW, well, I talk about cars, yes, that's one of my hobbies, but I talk about many other topics as well. I talk about being in prison for 5 years, talk about steroid abuse and how it gave me a heart attack. I have Dr. Peter Pococco that is a mentor and he actually got me started on YouTube. And I talk about conspiracy theories with Gary from the gym, on and on and on. Okay, so I am a multi-topic channel, sharing life experiences one video at a time, just like you would talking to your friends. You guys talk about many different topics, right? That's having a conversation. So I'm having a conversation with you one video at a time. All right, so let's see. It's been raining here in the Boston area for, it seems like forever. All of April, all of May, half of June. Now, Father's Day approaches. I live on Craigslist. I'm like, whatever car I find, because I am an enthusiast, I love almost every car, okay? It's convertible time. I usually have a convertible every year. Last year I did not. I featured my 2002 Mini Cooper S, pros and cons, my 2002 Mercedes E55 AMG, pros and cons. They both took quite a while to sell. Okay, so I didn't end up buying a convertible. This season, I talked about my BMW X1, my Fiat Abarth with 260 horsepower, and the newest addition is the 2001 BMW 330 Ci convertible with a sport package. All right, so again, I was on the old Craigslist looking for convertibles. I actually found a Corvette first. And it was a 1993 anniversary Corvette. I felt bad for this guy because for whatever reason, he ended up buying he just shouldn't have bought it. All right, so anyways, I went to go check it out. It was an anniversary edition. It should have been the maroon color, but somebody painted it candy apple red and it had ghost flames on it, which was, somebody would have liked it. I was buying to flip it, but the paint was actually coming off the car. It said it had a 383 stroker in, a 383 stroker engine in it, but he had no paperwork. But I'll tell you this, it did sound the business. It did sound like it had a very healthy cam. It was radical, but with no paperwork, the paint lifting up the body, I wasn't gonna buy it. I had to resell it anyways. So I moved away from that and I focused on two convertibles. One was a 99 BMW M Roadster, and I love those cars. I had one a couple years ago and it was beautiful. I loved it. I'm a little too tall for it, but I would have enjoyed it and resold it anyways. So that was option number one. Option number two was a 2001 BMW 330 CI convertible with the M package. Now, if you're looking at cars, you can tell an M package with the M3 seats. So that's the first clue. Once you see the M3 seats, then you know it's an M package. I can go on and on and on what else to look for, but in this particular case, when I was looking at the ad, it was dark gray. It had a beautiful top on it, rust-free, had about 148,000 miles on it. It was, it had the upgraded, newer, like a 2010 BMW original, not replicas, original M3 wheels. So there were 19-inch staggered wheels. That alone is $2,000, just the rims, okay? The guy just put brand new tires on it as well. So $3,000 in wheels and tires, and it was very nice looking in the pictures. So that was Father's Day, pouring out the whole day. The BMW 330, the gentleman couldn't see me until around dinner time, okay? Here in Boston, we say supper. So around supper time, that's when he was available. Now, the gentleman with the M Roadster, I was really intrigued. It was that nice red, and it was up in Epping, New Hampshire, and that's about an hour and 20 minutes away from me. It was pouring rain, like I said, but I was bored. Father's Day, nothing going on, so I took the ride. All the way up, downpouring, rain, get off the exit, try to find this house, and I pull up to the garage, and it's packed with all the tools around it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Some people really take care of their vehicles. Some people just don't. This guy, I don't think he even knew what a car wash was. So I asked him to back it up. I'm looking at it, shaking my head. I'm like, what's going on? He wanted $8,500 for it, which was a fair price. If it was nice, I could have resold it and made a profit, but needed a top. I get up there, the inner fender, in the fender well, or whatever you want to call it, was missing on the passenger side. It got hit. It had to have, because the tire was bald and it was missing. And I asked him, what happened? I bought it like that from the dealership 15 years ago. Bullshit. You're a liar. They would never sold you that car looking like that. Again, the body was okay, but the top needed to be replaced. It looked like the top was down for 15 years. The seats would have had to come out and get all new carpet, and everything would have been taken apart and re-cleaned. It was totally disgusting. Took it for a test drive, put it in gear. It's banging. I don't know what it was. I couldn't get myself underneath the car, but I wasn't buying it. Not at that price. I didn't want to insult them, but for around $3,500, I would have bought it and put about $3,000 to $4,000 into it. I wouldn't mind doing that, because then it would have been worth something, okay? I like to have the nicest cars possible to start off with, and that was a project. So I get home in the rain, and I'm sitting there twirling my thumbs on Craigslist. So I kept texting the gentleman on the 330. Can you make it home a little bit faster? It's gonna be dark time I get there. Can I leave a little earlier? So he was cool with that. He said you can leave an hour before the time that I would have been there to begin with. So I was happy with that. Again, Ipswich, New Hampshire. Have you ever heard of it? Me either. But it took me an hour and 20 minutes to get there, all on back roads, in the rain, Fog, it was just awful. And do not buy a car in the rain. Everybody tells you that. But because I know my BMWs, I know what to look for. Before I even went there, I had to ask him all the usual questions. He answered most of them. And the reason I actually went there, because he had a real repair shop go through the whole car. He uses that as his primary garage. They're very expensive because I was looking at the bill, and he spent $1,800 on it 1 year prior to selling it to me. He only put 2,000 miles on it, and when I got there, the car was beautiful. Now, BMWs are known to have rips in the side bolsters on an M3 seat or the sport package seats. I am in the game somewhat, buying and selling cars. My friends that own dealerships, they have people that come to the dealership and they can stitch up everything, they can patch something, so I have that if I need it. So the seats can be fixed very easily. The top was very nice, but it was loose in the back where it folds. Not a big deal. It's not ripped, it's just unglued, it just needs a little attention, and it would be fixed, not a big deal. So I take it for a test drive. The AC works, that was great, because I wouldn't have bought it if it didn't. So I take it for a little test drive, and I noticed the clutch is grabbing 3/4 up. BMW is usually about 1/4 off the floor. So as soon as it comes up a little bit, it grabs, you're good to go. If you know how to drive a BMW, I've gotten away with a clutch grabbing way at the top. It would stall a few times, but I can get away with it on certain occasions. But this one is 3/4, and that's where the negotiations come a little bit more in hand. So I got a real good deal. I got a very good deal. And Kurt, I want to thank you very much. We spent about another 2 hours after the deal just chatting. And there's one thing I want to call you out on, Kurt. When I asked you, did you change the oil? I think you either said you changed it or you looked at it and it was full. All right, so that I'm going to get to in a second. So I buy the car, it's pitch black out, it's foggy, driving home was just awful. The very next day, I go register the car, I get my sister, we take the ride back. The place is beautiful. Going through the small towns of New Hampshire, wow, it was breathtaking in a bunch of spots, and I really enjoyed it. But as soon as I got in the car, dropped the top, the car handled unbelievable. I really loved the car. So when I got home, first thing that I do, because it's the way I am, wash the car. Wash the wheels. Wash the interior, vacuum out the interior.
This might be a bit gross. I should have known, I should have seen. That look in your eyes is not letting me.
That was a whole day of just doing that. Okay, so over the next few days, because it rained again for several days, I decided just to wax the car. I waxed the whole car. And then on that oil thing I was just talking about, I checked the oil. First it was down 1/4 too. I think it was mostly 1, but it was burnt, like burnt. So I added 1/4 of oil in there, not a big deal. I still didn't feel satisfactory. So I sent it off and got a new oil change. But before I did that, I noticed that the power steering was burnt as well. Now he just took this to a repair shop, and I'm looking at the invoice. He never got an oil change. They didn't check the fluids because everything was burnt. So BMW's power steering is right there. Just suck it right up, put some fresh transmission fluid in there. Like literally 3 minutes to do that job. That's the easiest fluid change on a BMW. All right, so when I dropped the car off to get the oil change, my buddy said, hey Mike, you gotta check out this oil filter. And this is what it looks like. Completely torn apart. That never happens. So that's been in there for quite a long time. All right, Kurt, so that's what I'm calling you out on, is you didn't change the oil, unless you said otherwise, I don't remember. Like maybe you just said, I checked it, or you changed it. So I don't remember exactly what you said. But other than that, beautiful car. Now, as I'm cleaning this car, I sent pictures out to my buddy, and he was like, are you selling that? I'm like, yeah, eventually. I want to do the pros and cons of buying this vehicle. And next thing you know, he's like, can me and my wife come up with the kids? I'm like, yeah, you can come take a look at it. He comes up as I'm steam cleaning the interior, because I'm a fanatic when it comes to certain cars. I want stuff clean. So I'm steam cleaning the interior. Here he comes with the kids, and they buy it. I had it for, I think not even 2 weeks. I only put 200 miles on it. And I'm like kicking myself in the ass because I can't find another one that comes close to this condition, what I paid for it, the looks, the wheels, everything. I can't find it. I can't find none of that. So, with that said, some of the problems that BMWs go through, and this is all 3 Series. Water pumps, radiator, expansion tanks, valve cover gasket, power steering. They leak everywhere. The oil housing unit itself is attached to the block. That leaks. Anything that has a fluid in it will leak. That gasket will leak. It doesn't matter. The Vanos. I never had a problem with the Vano system after all these cars. Some of them I haven't owned that long, but I never had a problem with the Vanos. Clutches. I have one bad clutch, but I never replaced it. Yeah, I did replace a clutch once. Yep, I did. I had a 540 Sport, so I did replace a clutch once in one of my cars. This one, I knew selling to my friend that I told him that probably next year you're gonna need a clutch. So I like to be honest and upfront with everything I do with my cars, okay? So what else to look out for? The bushings, they're sloppy with the standards. They just wear out. Seats, they wear out. They get torn, especially the sport seats. Trying to get in there with the lumbar seat on the side, always wear out quickly, but that's all fixable, okay? And the stitching comes out, again, that's all fixable. That is money off in my eyes when I go look at a car. I'm like, oh, you gotta take off for that, you know, because I can get that fixed. All right, so suspension-wise, everything goes on them. Everything. All right, front end, everything. Rear end, everything. All bushings. They are the ultimate driving machine for a reason, because they handle unbelievable. They sit much lower than most cars, especially back then in the 2000s. Nothing can, well, I'm not gonna say nothing, but BMWs, for the most part, are the best handling cars I ever driven. And I've driven a lot of cars. I love them, but I hate them as well. What else to look out for? All the switches, they can go on you. That's just normal wear and tear. But window regulators, they go out on you. If you do own a coupe with a sunroof, there's a piece of plastic gearing in there, those go on you. The ACs, sometimes when you put the AC on, one side works, one side doesn't. Just make sure the AC works. What else? Yeah, anything that has a piece of rubber on it, like anything in the motor, PVC system, That's a bitch that can drive you bananas because the check engine light will always come on. What else? Springs. The rear springs are known to be kind of weak for whatever reason. I bought my sister's E46 325, and she was telling me it rides like crap. I'm like, well, maybe it needs shocks. As soon as we put on the lift, the springs fell right in our hands, crumbled. So you gotta look out for the springs. That's a known issue too. What else? Jeez. Whatever's on that car can go bad. So do yourself a favor, take it to a place, have it looked at. It can be pricey, but if you find the right owner that has receipts or is a real enthusiast and they love their car, you're gonna pay a little extra for a better car. And that's always worked out for me. Or, because you do know what you're talking about, things that you may have to replace in the future, you just simply try to talk to that person to reduce the price. It doesn't mean everything's gonna go at the same time, they don't. But people that buy BMWs or Mercedes or Audis, Volkswagens, they're usually hand-me-down cars or something they got cheap, but they just couldn't afford to fix them. Today, these cars are hard to come by in very good condition. I got lucky on this one. I love it. I loved it because I don't have it anymore. And I just can't find another one. Now, I've had every 3 series except for one of the E46, the ZHP. The ZHP is between a Sport and an M3. It's got the same interior. It's got some specialty parts to break it, to make it its own identity. It has different bumpers, different wheels, but it's the same car, what I just bought, okay? And people think one or two things, that they're worth crazy amount of money, like M3 money. They're not, okay? And they don't fix them, and they still want all the money. Now, I try to buy one or negotiate on one on Craigslist, and the guy wanted $13,000 for a car that was hit in the first place. It was a 6-speed, and he only did the water pump, expansion tank, and I think a thermostat. And other than that, but the mileage was low at 72,000 miles. I tried to offer him $8,000 to make maybe $1,500 because, again, we live in New England. It's a convertible. Not many people are gonna drive it. You have to have 2 cars. All right, so again, should you buy a BMW 330, 325, E46 BMW? Yes or no? Yes, if it was well taken care of. You will love it. They handle unbelievable. You feel good in it. I like them. I do like them. But there's a lot of quirks. So look for the best one possible. Stay away from dealerships because they don't know what they have. They're buying from an auction. Buy it from an enthusiast. Or buy it from someone that you can have a friend work on. Or you have a garage that you can trust. Other than that, stay away from a BMW E46. So find the best one possible. Stay away from the ones that you have no information on. So that is today's video, and I hope you guys got something out of it. Until the next video, everybody, Baldadonis out.